GlassProServices wants to show you through this video why it's very important that when you have a windshield installed in your car, that you do it with a factory installation versus a quick cut non-factory installation. The first thing you want to do is the bottom of the windshield, there where your wipers and your cowl pan is on your vehicle, all that needs to be completely removed and took apart so that you can get to the bottom of the windshield for correct glue and removal. After the cowl is moved and the wipers are removed from the car, then the process of cutting out the windshield can be begun. You may begin by removing the molding and starting to remove the glass from the vehicle. After your windshield is removed, the old urethane, the glue that's held the windshield in around the pinch well of your car, all of this glue needs to be completely cut off and removed. Some companies will leave this urethane on the car and urethane over the top of the existing glue. Without cutting this urethane off your vehicle and the glue being removed and new glue being reapplied, the process of doing a factory installation, that is one of the main steps, is to remove that glue. And then what we'll do is tape up, if the pinch well of the car around the vehicle, if it had a molding that recessed down in the body, we'll tape it off where the primer will not get on the paint and show after the installation is done. This process is another step that's very important to a factory installation. After the glue is removed from the vehicle around the pinch well, we take and clean that real good and get all the dirt, anything that's up underneath that molding, clean that real good and tape it off around the pinch well. And that's where you apply a black primer. That primer is actually put on the vehicle to avoid and to keep the vehicle from rusting in the future and down the road. I think that's a very important part of a factory installation, is to actually apply that primer and put that in place. That will make sure that there's no rust or any problems that come up in the future. After removing the tape from around the windshield, the pinch well is now prepared and prepped and ready to run the urethane and the glue to hold the glass in place. And the next step we'll do after this is actually prepping and preparing the windshield for installation. Once this windshield is actually put on a rack, then you'll take the underneath side of the windshield, and on some vehicles the molding needs to be applied. In this case here, the molding is already on the windshield. Depending on the vehicle and the make and the year and the model, some of those vehicles, the moldings have to be installed on the windshield, which we would do at this time. But in this case, this windshield has already got the molding on it. What we do next is actually spray the window with a cleaner. Clean that window very thorough, and then go around the edges if there's any places that leave fingerprints. Another thing we want to do is actually always handle glass with rubber gloves. But if you do get any fingerprints on it, GlassProServices like to go around the edge of the glass to check for those fingerprints. If there's fingerprints there, that's where you degrease and then re-clean the glass. This is another step that's very important to a factory installation. And also the customer, when they get their windshield installed in their car, the inside of the vehicle, the glass is already clean, crystal clear. After the windshield is prepped and ready, then we run the urethane on the pinch well to replace the windshield back in your vehicle. Going back with a factory cut, the urethane, it'll take almost 2 complete tubes of urethane to install your windshield. Some companies may do the non-factory quick cut, which is gluing over the top of the existing urethane. This will actually take less glue, but actually cause problems down the road in the future with leaks and other issues without having that urethane cut off the car and new glue applied. After the glue is applied to your car, everywhere you stop and start the urethane, you want to take and actually fiber and blend those joints together. That way you got one continuous bead of glue all the way around your vehicle. Also, it's very important to take and straighten that urethane and apply that as straight as possible. By doing so, you take a fiber stick, a plastic fiber stick, and actually run it along the edges of the glue urethane and straighten it out to put it back in its original place that was applied from the factory. After the windshield is set into place, we like to secure the top corners of the windshield with tape. The tape that we use actually tells the customer to remove in 24 hours. That's another important part of this installation. Also, to go around the edges of the windshield and gently float the glass into place. I like for the windshield to look just as it did when the car was new. I tell each customer that a good factory installation means that for the customer, they shouldn't be able to tell that the work had ever been done to their car. After this process, we then begin to install the cowl pan and the wipers and put the car back together. And after the installation is done, GlassProServices always likes to check the wipers for the customer. If those wipers are in bad shape, then always let the customer know that. That way the customer can change the wiper blades before using them. There's nothing worse than having a brand new windshield installed in your vehicle and turn your wipers on and have the windshield scratched. Also, clean the windshield very good on the outside. The process prior to this was the windshield was cleaned from the inside. This will let the glass be crystal clear. This is another factory installation done by GlassProServices.